The infield has been playing Stanford to pull this whole, or rather playing Graham to pull this whole series. 3 infielders to the left of second base as he swings and misses at another slider. Even that second one, toward the end of his swing, it looked like he wanted to hold up. 0-2. Ullman gets his sign. Now the pitch. And a curveball outside. Graham did well to take that one. A ball, 2 strikes. Carter Graham is batting .271 this year. Now he waits, and the pitch misses away. Fastball, 92 miles an hour. So now with the count even, we'll have to see if Ullman grooves one here. Because now he winds and throws, and a changeup low and away. So he's thrown all 3 of his 4 pitches, rather. That fastball, that breaking ball, and the changeup that just missed. No score here in the first. 1 out, nobody on for Carter Graham. Graham, the number 2 hitter, waits and bounces one foul toward the third base coaching box. Steve Rodriguez had to kind of olay his way out of that one. 3-2. Tommy Troy waits out on deck. Graham waits for the payoff from Ullman, and he takes ball 4. A good take indeed on a breaking ball right on the outer half. So when Ullman has struggled, it has been because of the walk. And right away he issues his first one here in the top of the first. Up next, Tommy Troy. Troy, for the first time this year, has had his average dip below 400, batting .393. One of the premier middle infielders in all of the Pac-12 as he takes outside. He's made a home for himself at third base this year after he switched places a little bit unexpectedly with Drew Bowser. Bowser, who's a middle infielder by trade, he played shortstop in high school, handled the transition at second seamlessly, and same could be said for Troy at third. Troy has the better arm of the two, and now he swings and pops this one up behind home plate. Cromwell giving chase, but that's going to fall out of play. A ball and a strike to Tommy Troy. Troy's got lots of speed and power from the right side. He is most likely going to be the first man chosen in the 2022 or 2023 MLB draft off of this Cardinal squad. Graham over at first, shuffling, and now Ullman steps off and tosses it to first. If he had been looking at Carter Graham and perhaps made that move with a little bit more conviction, he almost certainly would have had him. Infield, double play depth, playing straight away with Jacob Walsh holding on at first, as there's a step off and a throw to first, and this time Graham is back standing. The pitch before, Graham was shuffling off of first, getting a few extra steps to his lead, anticipating that Ullman would throw soon. He almost certainly would have gone if Ullman had committed to the plate. The 1-1 pitch to Troy, and he swings and misses at a beautiful changeup at 84 miles an hour. Carter Graham on first after a 1-out walk. Just getting started here at PK Park. Ullman sets, step off and a quick move to first. Graham hops in back standing, but he probably would have been better off with a dive. He is safe, but he really had to stretch to get his foot on the bag before Jacob Walsh tagged him. Troy, choked up an inch on his bat, waits for the 1-2 pitch. Step off throw to first, and now Graham thinks it best to dive back. Graham is really not a speed demon, so it's a little bit surprising to see Ullman so focused on him. After all, he's got a 2-strike count on one of the Pac-12's best hitters. Here's the pitch on the way, and Troy takes high. 90-mile-an-hour fastball, 2-2. Ullman's already thrown his 15th pitch this inning, and there's only 1 out. That's roughly double what Jay Stoffel threw in Game 1, as the pitch on the way is a breaking ball outside. and in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Troy has worked the count full. That's one of the keys to this game for the Cardinal, is take long at bats. They have the potential to knock Ullman out of this game very early, especially considering that Oregon's bullpen is perhaps even more available than Stanford's. The pitch on the way, Graham takes off, and Troy spoils it foul over the backstop, out of play. Troy back in the box now. Ullman dealing from the stretch, hoping to avoid issuing his second walk. The pitch on the way, and it is a breaking ball inside, ball 4. Graham was running with the pitch, so he gets to coast into second without a throw. That looks like a breaking ball, and that's not typically where you want to miss with it. That was up and in. And had it not broken as much as it had, it would have hit Tommy Troy. 2 straight walks after the 1-3 put out to begin things here in the first. Now it's Braden Montgomery. Braden Montgomery batting left-handed. Lots of power. Here's the pitch, and he swings and hits one off his 5th foul and out of play. The first baseman, Jacob Walsh, is playing Montgomery very deep. The second baseman is playing double play depth, albeit shaded toward the hole. That's Gavin Grant. Cowley, the shortstop, is holding on Carter Graham. Step-off throw to second, and Cowley did well to get a quick break toward the bag. That one was ticketed for center field. So Ullman has been very preoccupied by Carter Graham, of all people, at second base. Tommy Troy, a big lead at first with nobody holding. Here's a check on second. Now the pitch. And it's in the dirt, smothered by Cromwick. That was a changeup at 84 miles an hour. So command issues looming here for Leo Ullman here in the first. This is a situation where you really don't want to give a struggling offense any extra leeway. Montgomery waiting. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that one is taken below the knees. 2-1. Two aboard, nobody out here in the first. Stanford has their first rally started, and they have not, as of yet, recorded a hit. Ullman sets at the belt, now delivers. And Montgomery with a big swing, get a miss. That was at a low breaking ball. I forgot to mention, Braden Montgomery this is his birthday. So hopefully he can hit a birthday bash or two. And there's a swing and a high bouncer down the first base line. Foul. Birthday bomb, birthday bash. Call it whatever you want. That's what Braden Montgomery was going for with that swing. 2-2. Ullman laboring here in the first, pitch number 24. Coming up, Malcolm Moore waiting on deck. Graham, short lead off a second. Troy a big lead with nobody holding at first. And Braden Montgomery takes just a bit outside at 91 miles an hour. That's a call that many of the Oregon pitchers have been getting for most of the weekend. And that can largely be attributed to them filling up the zone. Umpires tend to give you more strikes when you've been throwing more strikes. Here's the pitch on the way, and Montgomery bounces it foul. That was a fastball, and Montgomery was way ahead of it. So I would not be surprised if, in another 3-2 count, that Montgomery might receive a changeup. The third baseman, Sabine Ceballos, is playing well off the line. Graham might even think about getting a good jump and advancing, or running with the pitch. Here it goes. Here they come. Or rather, the pitch on the way. The runners do not go, and it's taken inside, ball 4. So Ullman really digging a hole for himself. He's walked the bases loaded. Still no hits in the contest for the Cardinal. Top of the first, bases loaded for Malcolm Moore. Nowhere to put him. Ullman really has to attack the zone. Moore, left-handed batter, lots of power. In his freshman year, he's really asserted himself as one of the foremost offensive catchers in the Pac-12. He's hitting .320 with 7 home runs. That is tied for second on the team as Ullman, working from the first base side of the rubber, kicks and deals from the stretch, and that one's lined foul down the first base line, out of play. That one wasn't smoked or anything like that. It might have gotten in on the hands of Malcolm Moore a bit. Malcolm Moore has a big open stance in the left-handed batter's box. That doesn't leave him vulnerable to the outside because he closes it, but it makes it a little bit hard to adjust to the inside pitch. Here it comes, and that looks like a change-up missing in the dirt. Another nice block by Cromwick. 1-1. Bases loaded for the Cardinal, 1 out. Drew Bowser waiting on deck. He's due up next. Ullman sets at the belt. Now the stretch. And Moore swings and misses. A good changeup right at the bottom of the zone. That's the kind of pitch where if he puts the ball in play, it's likely to be a ground ball hit at somebody. Graham at third, Troy at second, and Montgomery at first. The latter two with a lot of speed. Infield, double play depth again. Here's the pitch. And Moore swings and barely gets a piece of that and hits it foul. The pitch count for Ullman continues to rise. He has thrown 30 this inning, and that's more than his Friday and Saturday teammates had thrown in their first 2 to 3 frames. 1-2 to Moore. Here's the pitch, and Moore swings and barely spoils another one foul. Moore is taking swings to do damage, as he fouled that one off his foot, so now he's going to take a brief stroll around the mound. Stanford just underway with the third game of this series. They dropped the first 2 after being dominated by outstanding pitching from the Oregon Ducks. Now John Ursone's going to come out. He's the trainer for Stanford. He's going to have a word with Moore. It looks like Moore was gesturing that hit him in his back knee. So that did not hit him in the foot. He has the shin guard on with the foot pad on his front foot. Now Dave Esker's going to come out and have a chat with him too. So we hope that he's all right, and of course, in any case, he's going to have a circular bruise just above his left kneecap. Stanford threatening here in the first. Bases loaded, 1 man out. A ball, 2 strikes to Malcolm Moore. Leo Ullman has really been laboring over the course of this inning. Pitch number 32 on the way. Moore waiting. Here's the pitch, and he swings and grounds another one foul. That one was a changeup at the bottom of the zone, and it looks like that broke Moore down a bit, but he was able to get his bat to it and stay alive. Still 1-2. The quality of at-bats has already increased dramatically from the first 2 games, and we're just in the first inning. Here's the pitch, and Moore swings and he drives one down the right field line, giving Chase's Betcher toward the line, and that's going to hook out of play deep down the right field's line. I don't think that one had home run distance, as Moore looked like he was ahead of it, but that one is one of the more harrowing foul balls of this series, and under the circumstances, one of the scary balls hit by any man in this Cardinal lineup this entire weekend. Moore waits for another 1-2 pitch on the way, and he swings and misses. Strike 3. Man, not a good swing that time. He tried to check it and really just ended up throwing his hands at the ball with his lower half not really being engaged. So a big strikeout for Ullman, and now 2 outs for Drew Bowser. Moore was most likely in swing mode, which is good if you want to protect the plate, but that was a changeup down and out of the zone. Base is still loaded for Bowser. Here's the pitch, and he checks his swing on the first pitch, and Mike Fichter says he went around. Another breaking ball down and away. That's been Bowser's kryptonite this entire series. Michael Fichter at first, he's been at third and at first, and he's been very astutely observing the check swing calls this whole series. Here's the 0-1 coming to Bowser, and he swings and misses at another breaking ball, strike 2. And Fichter, unlike like most of the umpires in this conference, is very astutely observing each hitter. And I've decided to name his decision on check swing calls the Fichter scale. Here's the pitch to Bowser, and he takes a bit outside. A fastball at 91 miles an hour. 1-2. Graham at third, Troy at second, and Montgomery at first. Ullman kicks and deals, and Bowser checks his swing, strike 3. He tried so desperately to hold up, but three men aboard, stranded for the Cardinal. The second check swing strikeout for Leo Ullman. No runs, no hits, 3 walks, no errors, and 3 men stranded. On to the last of the first inning. It is the Cardinal nothing, and the Oregon Ducks coming up on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Starting things off, the left-handed batting Riku Nishida. The first pitch from Joey Dixon, the right-hander, is grounded to second. Bowser calmly up with it, flips it to first overhanded in time, and quick out number 1. Nishida, Colby Shade, and Drew Cowley, the first hitters, due up. Nishida was promptly dispatched, and now Colby Shade. Defensively for the Cardinal, Alberto Rios is in left field, Eddie Park in center, and Braden Montgomery with the best arm in right field. Tommy Troy's at third, Owen Cobb at short, Drew Bowser is at second, Carter Graham at first, and Malcolm Moore receives the first pitch from behind the plate. It is a ball to Colby Shade. Dixon has really looked fantastic his past few outings, as there's a strike right down Palm Drive. His fastball is about 89 to 92. He'll reach back, and he's gotten 95 at times this year. His changeup looked great against Cal this past weekend, and his curveball looked excellent the week before that. The pitch on the way. Shade squares the bunt and pushes it to the third base side. Off the mound to get it. Dixon shuffles, fires to first, and it's down the right field line. It caroms off the screen. Graham over to get it. Here's the throw to second base, and Shade slides in safely. So that is not what the Cardinal needed. That's going to be ruled an error on the pitcher, Dixon. Might have slipped out of his hand, but Dixon had a little bit too much time to make the throw. He barehanded it, or gloved it, shuffled, and then fired to first, and no chance for Graham with the speedy Colby Shade aboard. So that's the first error of this series. And now one of the leading RBI men for the Oregon Ducks, Drew Cowley. Cowley, left-handed batter. The first pitch slips out of the hand of Dixon and goes right to the backstop. So the rain is coming down, and that's the second ball that slipped out of Dixon's hands. He's motioning toward the dugout. He has little to no grip on the baseball right now. Cowley, left-handed batter. The infield's playing him to pull. An error and a wild pitch after the quick first pitch out to Riku Nishida. Dixon deals and misses arm side again. That time with the changeup. 2 balls, no strikes. No score here in the home first. The Oregon Ducks threatening with the runner at third and 1 man out. Here's the pitch on the way, and it is a little bit outside, 3-0. Stanford left them loaded after getting the bases loaded with 1 man out. And Oregon threatening with the runner at first, and now runners at the corners as the pitch misses away for ball 4. So right away, Dixon does not look sharp. Stanford have their bullpen completely available, but nobody's getting loose right now. An error and a walk to start things for the Ducks after a bounce out to the second baseman, Bowser. So now here's Sabine Ceballos. Ceballos, after being quiet in the first game of this series, went 3 for 4 yesterday with the 2-run home run. A right-handed batter, lots of power. Here's the pitch, and that one's ripped foul down the third base line. Out of play. So, if it's because of the weather or if it's because of any other extenuating circumstances, Dixon's stuff does not look all that sharp. Fastball at 87 miles an hour, and he's had problems with commanding the curveball and the changeup. The pitch on the way, and Ceballos swings and misses. Power to fastball by him at 88 miles an hour. Shade at third is very, very fast. Cowley at first, very athletic, but not with nearly as much speed on the bases. Graham is holding on the ladder, with the infield playing Ceballos to pull. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a pop-up on the right side. Moore and Graham have a look at it, but it's well out of play. Still no hits in the game for either side. Ceballos, if he picks up the first one of the game, might do some disproportionate damage. Runners at the corners and only 1 man out. Dixon's pitch on the way. Hard steps off of first, and there's a high fly ball to deep left field. Back goes Rios toward the warning track at the wall. He looks up, and it is gone. That's how it's been for the Cardinal this whole series. A 3-run home run for Sabine Ceballos. And yet again, it's the Ducks who draw first blood by way of the long ball. It's 3-0. Pause for station identification. This is KZSU Stanford 90.1 FM, your non-commercial Cardinal sports leader, and your Stanford student radio network. Now with the bases clear and a clean slate for Joey Dixon, more or less, there's a called strike to Tanner Smith. That's the 7th home run this series for the Oregon Ducks. As the pitch comes, and there's a big swing and a miss. Best changeup that Dixon's thrown today. The Ducks have really sold out with every swing, and they've really reaped the benefits of that on mistake pitches up in the zone, and that home run was definitely a mistake as the pitch comes, and it is a fastball high, 1-2. 1 out, bases empty, 3-0 Oregon leads after the home run. Tanner Smith, left-hand batter, waits. Dixon's 1-2, and Smith swings and slashes one foul down the third base side. Smith has got some power as well. He has 6 home runs of his own. Much like his teammates, he'll look to capitalize on a Cardinal mistake. Here's the 1-2, and he reaches for one and flies one into left field. In comes Rios, angling in towards second base, and he makes the catch. 2 outs here on the home first. So now here's Jacob Walsh. Walsh has absolutely been a thorn in the side of every Cardinal pitcher who has appeared. He is 3 for 7 this series with 3 home runs, as the powerful left-handed hitter waits and takes the ball just missing away. Here's Dixon pitching. Base is empty, 2 men out, and a called strike at the knees. If Walsh was a boxer, every punch he would throw would be a haymaker, and that's exactly how he swings the bat. He is swinging for a 500-foot bomb every pitch as he takes a big swing at that one and tops it foul. That's great for Walsh when he gets a mistake pitch, which he's seen many of over the course of this series. But it also leads to a disproportionate amount of swing and a miss. That said, he has 11 home runs, with 3 coming in this series and 2 coming in yesterday as he takes a changeup low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Walsh is back to wearing number 25 after wearing number 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson yesterday. He is the only African-American player on this Oregon roster as the pitch comes to him, and he swings and misses, strike 3. 3 come across to score after an error, a walk, and a 3-run blast by Sabine Ceballos. We go now to the second inning. The Cardinals are trailing 3-0 on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Joey Dixon back to the mound, hoping to hang a 0 on the scoreboard after allowing 3 in the first. 3-0 Stanford trail, as to start things off, it'll be Josiah Cromwick, the catcher. Cromwick, right-hand batter, as Dixon delivers his first pitch of the inning, and it is called a strike, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball in a pretty good spot. It's hard to tell from here in the press box, but it looks like the rain has more or less subsided. There's a swinging strike 2 on a fastball again. I still see some umbrellas out in the stands, so perhaps not, but I also see some hoods removed, as Dixon's pitch is just a little bit outside. Another fastball to Josiah Cromwick. Now the 1-2 pitch, and he swings and misses. Tied him up with a fastball. Second strikeout for Joey Dixon, and that'll bring up Bryce Betcher. Betcher, not really a force offensively. He's been quiet this series, hitless, and his average is well below 200 at 182. But the caliber of defense he's played this entire weekend has been fantastic. He scores a bunt, pulls the bat back on the first pitch, and he takes a ball outside. Oregon 3, Stanford 0 here in Game 3 of this series. Oregon trying to win their 5th in a row, and Stanford trying to avoid their 4th straight loss. The 1-0 pitch on the way, and it is a bit outside, 2-0. Betcher, right-handed batter. Lots of speed. Tommy Troy respecting the bunt by playing in even with the bag at third. Here's the pitch on the way, and he checks the swing. That time, no shot of an appeal down at first, although they ask any wind. It is ruled a ball, no swing. 3-0. 1 out, bases empty. Dixon works from the windup. Now he kicks and he deals, and it is called a strike. Took something off the fastball at 88 miles an hour. The wind has started to pick up a little bit, and it's blowing out towards straightaway left field. Dixon deals, and that one is drilled deep to left field. Way back there, still going. It is a home run. Bryce Betcher, only his 2nd of the year. But that one was a line drive that just kept on going out into the Cardinal bullpen. That's the 2nd home run allowed in 2 innings. And that's the 8th home run allowed by Stanford starting pitching this series. A solo home run, and it's 4-0 Ducks here in the last of the 2nd. So now Gavin Grant. Grant's right-handed batter takes the ball up and in. Dixon with a little bit more emotion behind that pitch, got it up to 93 miles an hour. That one really buzzed the tower. Grant had to bend out of danger as the next offering from Dixon misses up and in as well. That time at 90 miles an hour, but still. Grant yesterday was 0 for 3, and he was also hit by a pitch. He had to avoid getting plunked again, as with that Malcolm Moore, who is one of the leading experts in being hit by pitches. He walks out to perhaps calm Joey Dixon down. Oregon 4, Stanford 0 here in the 3rd. Let's take a look around Major League Baseball a bit. As 6-6, the Guardians and Nationals are knotted up in Washington. That game is in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2-0, the Yankees beat the Twins today. That game was over rather quickly. Rays 7, Blue Jays 1. The Rays, after going undefeated in their first 13 games, are trying to avoid the sweep. As now the 2-0 pitch is on the way, and it is up and in. Action is now brewing in the Cardinal bullpen. Drew Dowd looks like he's getting stretched out. The Phillies are beating the Cincinnati Reds on the road. That score is 11-1 and only the 4th, as there's a pitch taken right down Palm Drive. Gavin Grant was taking all the way. 3-1. Diamondbacks ahead of the Marlins, 5-0. That game is in the bottom of the 9th. The pitch on the way, and it is taken at the knees, strike 2. 4-2 Braves over the Royals in the 7th. 3-3 the Cardinals and Pirates tied. The Pirates are off to a 9-6 start, and they're hoping to take the series here at Busch Stadium. Here's the pitch on the way, and he checks the swing. That ball glances off his bat foul toward the first base dugout. A couple of other games underway or finished. 2-1 the Red Sox victorious over the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And the Padres-Brewers series is just about to get started with their Game 3 as the pitch to Gavin Grant is called strike 3 at the knees with a breaking ball. Third strikeout for Dixon. It's been a 3 true outcomes game for him, save for the error. 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs, and 1 walk. He also allowed a single with a throwing error, so that was the lone exception. Oregon 4, Stanford nothing. First pitch to Riku Nishida is a check swing. The appeal to third base with the left-handed hitter up is called a ball. I never really know the vernacular for how to really express the umpire's appeal decision as a pitch misses away. I always say stuff like sustained is upheld and whatnot, but I've always been guessing as to what that means as the pitch is coming in and it is a strike at the knees. 2 balls, 1 strike to the contact hitting Riku Nishida. There are other ways of saying he did or did not go, of course. For example, spreading the palms flat is an expression I've learned to enjoy using, and that one's taken strike 2 right at the knees. But check swing calls typically don't pop up very often, so as the pitch misses away, 3 balls, 2 strikes. The exception, of course, is this game. It feels like every swing that batters have taken is some kind of half-hearted. So many hitters, particularly for Stanford, have tried to hold up. The pitch comes to Nishida, and the payoff is lifted foul. Still 3-2. Nishida has been kept uncharacteristically quiet this series. Despite entering in with a .317 batting average to this game, he is 1 for 8 as he swings and slashes this one softly foul down the third base side out of play. Nishida 1 for 8. Not really a guy who's an easy out either. He's hitting in the DH spot for the 3rd time in his career, and the 3rd time this series as the 3-2 comes and he slashes another one foul. Nishida wielding lumber instead of the typical piece of metalwork. I thought that at some point this series we might see a Cardinal pitcher run one in on his hands and see him possibly a broken bat here or there. But Nishida does not swing that hard, and also he's good at getting the barrel to the baseball as he swings and slashes another one foul. Joey Dixon has now nearly thrown 50 pitches through the first 2 complete innings. 2 outs, nobody on. 4-0 Oregon leads here in the last of the 2nd. 1 run already in after the solo shot by Bryce Betcher as the pitch comes to Nishida, and he flares this one out toward left field. That got a little bit of wind behind it, but Rios is there to make the catch and retire the side. Joey Dixon walks off the mound not happy with himself as to his performance thus far. His 2nd home run allowed in 2 innings makes it 4-0 in favor of the Oregon Ducks as we go to the 3rd on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Let's pause now for station identification as we approach the top of the hour and the top of the third. This is KZSU Stanford 90.1 FM, your non-commercial Cardinal sports leader and your Stanford student radio network.
KZSU Stanford.
Here in the third, Stanford have not as of yet recorded a hit despite drawing 4 walks, as Leo Ullman will be back on the mounds facing the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Graham, Troy, and Montgomery are due, and they all reached via the walk in the first inning. Stanford, however, could not cash in despite having the bases loaded and only 1 out. They really have to turn things around as fast as possible. Infield playing Graham to pull. Here's the pitch, and it is a bit inside with the front door breaking ball. I might have already mentioned that Graham was 1 for 3 yesterday. He's 1 for 7 this series entering this game. As now the 1-0, and he rips this one right into the shift on one hop, speared by Cowley. That was smoked. His throw to first takes a skip off of the turf, over the glove of Walsh, and into the Oregon dugout. That ball was hit much harder than I initially gave Graham credit for. It took a really nice play by Drew Cowley to spear that one as he was playing in the overshift. But his throw to first was just a little bit too short, and Jacob Walsh tried to pick it out, but a bounce off of the water-saturated turf took it right over his glove, and that ball was out of play. So that's going to be the first error of the series for the Oregon Ducks. So right away, the Cardinals have a runner in scoring position for Tommy Troy, one of their best clutch hitters. 4-0 they trail as Troy takes ball 1. The understatement of the series would be to say that runs for the Cardinal have come at a premium. They've only scored 1 run the entire series as Troy takes away. And that was yesterday. They got shut out in game 1 and managed to scratch across 1 run yesterday. But ultimately, this team is really not playing like themselves. Typically, you see good starting pitching and potent offense from them, but this series they have brought neither one. Breaking ball misses in. 3 balls, no strikes to Tommy Troy. Graham wanders off of second base with nobody holding with a lot of conviction, and the pitch to Troy is a called strike, 90 miles an hour with the fastball. No one out, runner on second, following the leadoff error by the shortstop, Drew Cowley. The pitch to Tommy Troy is in the dirt, ball 4. So Troy works his second walk, and that'll bring up Braden Montgomery. That is the 5th base on balls allowed by Ullman today. And now there will be a mound visit here. There's an arm getting loose in the Oregon bullpen, as right away Mark Wyzakowski, the head coach, will motion with his right arm for the man to be summoned. We'll take this moment to pause for a break. 4-0, the Cardinal are trailing as we're in the 3rd inning. 2 runners on with nobody out on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. So the first pitching change of the series made by the Oregon Ducks is the move to Matt Dallas, the 6-foot-tall right-hander. The first pitch to Brady Montgomery is a bit outside at 87 miles an hour. Let's take a look at some of Dallas's numbers. This year he's been fantastic, a 2.33 ERA as both a multi-inning and a traditional relief pitcher. He's one of their best as the pitch comes, and it is a little bit outside to Brady Montgomery. 4-0 Stanford trail here with 2 men on and nobody out. They still not have recorded a hit as of yet. An error and a walk set the stage for Montgomery, the powerful switch hitter batting from the left side. He takes down low again from the right-hander Matt Dallas. 3 balls, no strikes. Dallas has worked 27 innings this year, struck out 27 and only walked 7. Make that 8 as Brady Montgomery takes outside ball 4. So for the second time in 3 innings, the Cardinals have loaded the bases. And they have not recorded a single base hit as of yet. But now Malcolm Moore is in a spot where if he really puts a charge into one, that would tie the game. On a day where the wind has not been that much of a factor, it has turned and started blowing out toward center field. The pitch on the way, in the dirt, with a fastball at 88 miles an hour. Matt Dallas is undoubtedly an uncomfortable at bat. He deals from a low, almost sidearm release as the pitch comes in and it misses away. A very low 3/4 with a sinker and a slider, as that was the slider that was only registering at 77 miles an hour. Dallas, who chooses to work from the very middle of the rubber, deals. And that one is a strike at the knees. 2-1. If you take out 2 outings of Matt Dallas's, he's only allowed 0 home runs. Like 0. Breaking ball missing away, 3-1 to Moore. Bases loaded, nobody out for Stanford here in the 3rd. That said, he got shelled when the Ducks played Arizona just a couple of weeks ago, getting taken yard not once, not twice, but thrice. As here's the pitch to Moore, and it misses away, ball 4. The second run of the series scores for Stanford, and it's 4-1. So 2 straight walks for Matt Dallas. Yet still that is not enough for any additional bullpen action to begin. The first pitch to Drew Bowser now is a breaking ball, very slow at 75 miles an hour, and it's called strike 1. 4-1, Stanford leading with the tying run at first. Drew Bowser, the batter, is the go-ahead run as he swings and misses. Another slow breaking ball. Bowser hopefully will adjust in the very near future. He's looked lost at the plate with these sliders coming in, and frankly, not many of them have been close pitches. He'll have to battle back in a 0-2 count. And he looks at that one, albeit it was in the opposite batter's box. 1-2. Troy at 3rd, Montgomery at 2nd, and Moore at 1st. They have all reached by way of the walk. Leo Ullman was relieved from this game, and Matt Dallas came in and issued 2 more free passes. The pitch coming to Bowser, and that one is an inside breaking ball, swung on and hooked foul. Bowser's got so much power, and when pitches have had to pitch to him, Bowser can really make them pay dearly for it. The problems for Bowser this season, when they have been prevalent, have been due to him chasing breaking balls out of the zone. The 1-2 coming, and a fastball that time at 90 miles an hour, missing up and away. So a much more tempered at bat for Drew Bowser, at least so far. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch on the way, and he swings and belts one out into left center field. Racing over Smith, he gets there and makes the catch. Tagging at 3rd is Tommy Troy. He will easily come in to score. And that's a sacrifice fly for Drew Bowser, and a very nice job of adjusting there. Just like that, the deficit's cut in half. It's 4-2. Sacrifice fly and an RBI for Drew Bowser. Runners still at 1st and 2nd, 2 men out for Alberto Rios. Two across for Stanford here in the third, although no hits still. Alberto Rios, right-handed batter. A check on second from the pitcher Dallas, and the offering misses low. There was a minor league baseball game just the other day with the Rocket City Trash Pandas, an Angels feeder team, having no hit, as there's a called strike, no hit their opponents. And yet they lost the game. And not only that, but they allowed 7 runs in the final inning of that game. The score was 7-5. The pitch coming to Rios, and a breaking ball in tight. 2 balls, 1 strike after a couple of breaking balls, a called strike, and that one missing inside. The sequence of the 9th inning was something like a couple of walks, an error, a couple of hit by pitches, and 2 pitchers just unable to find any part of the strike zone. The 2-1 on the way is called a strike at the knees. So this game for Oregon staff, nowhere near that extreme, but the command aspect of it is certainly something they'll look to work on. As it is, the Ducks lead the Cardinal 4-2. The pitch to Rios misses below the knees, 3-2. Montgomery at second, Moore at first. 1 man out only. Cole Hinkleman waiting out on deck. Payoff pitch coming to Rios, and Rios bounces one. Foul down the third baseline. Really pounded that one into the turf. Still 3-2. Lots of power from the right-hand side for Alberto Rios. Here's the pitch coming, and he swings and lines one down the left field line. Fair ball, base hit. Coming around third, Montgomery. He'll come in to score. Heading to third is Malcolm Moore, and into second with a double is Alberto Rios. So the first hit of the game drives in a run and puts runners at second and third, and now the score is 4-3. That was a money hit for one of Stanford's leading RBI men. A run in to score. The tying run is now at third with only 1 out. That was a nice play by Tanner Smith to race over and cut that one off before it got into the corner. Otherwise, we might be looking at a tie ball game. Cole Hinkleman up now. The pitch on the way, and an inside fastball called for strike 1. Three runs on only 1 hit with the help of an Oregon Ducks error. The pitch on the way, and Hinkleman swings and misses. Change up at 80 miles an hour. No balls, 2 strikes. Moore at third, Rios at second. The corner infielders are playing even with the baseline to possibly cut down a run at the plate, and the pitch to Hinkleman is a breaking ball called strike 3. So Hinkleman in a big spot in this game is swiftly dispatched. 5th strikeout of the game for Oregon pitching, and the first for Matt Dallas. And that'll bring up Owen Cobb. The tying run is at third, 3 across already to score here in the third. Owen Cobb, right-hand batter, waits and swings and misses at a breaking ball. That was a breaking ball up in the zone, but it looked like it broke a little bit more than Owen Cobb had envisioned. Now a timeout is Cromwick and Dallas trying to get on the same page. If you get a breaking ball up in the zone like that, it's no wonder that the average person would want to swing at it. That's certainly a mistake pitch, but that one just a little bit tougher to pick up, especially the first time. The pitch coming to Cobb, he squares the bunt and offers at it and misses. So he's down in the count now, 0-2. So the sparse crowd here at PK Park riling up their pitcher swing, and there's a fly ball out into right center, shallow. In comes Colby Shade, who calls off Betcher, and the side is retired. The Cardinal get 3 off of one hit and a handful of walks, and they strained a pair in scoring position. On to the last of the third inning. 4-3, the Cardinal are trailing on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Dixon, his first pitch to Colby Shade, he winds and throws and gets a fastball in there for a strike. Bottom of the third inning, 4-3 Stanford are trailing as a breaking ball flops in there for a called strike two, or called strike one, that is. The first pitch misses low. Colby Shade, the center fielder, leading things off. Open stance from the right-hand side. Dixon kicks and deals, and that one is flared out toward center field. Park, in a couple of steps, he makes the catch. And an easy out, number one. This is a frame where Dixon really has a chance to change the trajectory of this game. He has been clipped for a home run ball in each inning, and a shutdown inning here would be crucial. As now here is the left-handed batting Drew Cowley. The first pitch to him is a bit low for ball one. Alberto Rios took a couple of steps in after playing deep for the right-handed batting Shade. A ball, no strikes. The pitch on the way is a breaking ball called strike one. Didn't jump the gun that time. Even count to Drew Cowley. Cowley this series has been excellent for the Oregon Ducks as he swings and hits one hard on the ground up the middle into center field, a base hit. That one well out of the reach of Owen Cobb, who was playing up the middle, and Drew Bowser was playing in the overshift, so Cowley is aboard. Only the second non-home run base hit of the game for the Oregon Ducks, and that'll bring up Sabine Ceballos. Ceballos hit a 3-run blast his last time up. Here's Dixon delivering his first pitch from the stretch in a while, and that one's a called strike. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Taking a look at what happened yesterday in the Pac-12, 13-10. Utah took Game 2 at Smith's Ballpark, 8-2. The UCLA Bruins victorious in a non-conference game against UC Davis. Arizona State took Game 2 over University of Washington, that is. Breaking ball missing high. A ball and a strike to Ceballos. So the rubber match will be played today in Seattle. And of course, Washington State beat Arizona 11-8. USC also swinging. There's a fly ball out toward medium deep center field. Park started out, now comes racing in. Still coming in, and he makes the catch. There's a big yellow Oregon O right in the middle of center field. And Eddie Park made the snag right as he treaded on the yellow part of that letter. 2 men out, a man at first for Tanner Smith. Infield playing him to pull. Smith with great speed and power to match it. Here's Dixon's offering from the stretch, and a breaking ball misses down low. Three runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for Stanford. 4 runs on 4 hits, and an error for the Oregon Ducks. Last of the third inning, runner at first, 2 men out. The pitch on the way, and it is taken at the knees for a called strike 1. Our last report from yesterday, 3-2 the final score. Oregon State beat USC in Corvallis. So I do believe that means Oregon State has taken the series from the Trojans. Step off throw to first. Dixon with that good move, but that time Cowley is back in safely. Drew Cowley has been very judicious about when he's gone. And as a result, he has 2 steals and has never been caught. Drew Bowser is now taking a couple of steps out into shallow right. The pitch on the way, and it misses. 2 balls and a strike. Dixon trying to pick up that crucial shutdown inning here in the home third. Dixon working from the first base side of the rubber. Moore gives him his sign. Now Dixon from the low set, and a swing and a miss. On a low changeup, it's 2-2. Pretty conservative lead over at first for the athletic Drew Cowley, and there's a swing and a line drive slicing out toward left center field. Park ranges over, and he makes the catch. Park makes all 3 putouts in that frame. And Joey Dixon hangs a 0 in a crucial spot. The Cardinal trail by 1 as we head to the 4th inning. 4-3, the score on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Fourth inning here at PK Park in Eugene. The sun is beginning to peek through the clouds, and most of the rain has subsided as the first pitch to Eddie Park is grounded into left field, a base hit. First hit of the game for Eddie Park. That's his 4th knock this series. And when hits have come at a premium, that's a welcome sight to see from the leadoff man. Now it's Carter Graham. Graham has walked and reached on an error, and the latter time on the bases he scored. 4-3 Stanford trail here in the top of the 4th inning. The pitch on the way is called a strike at the knees. Stanford have been gifted chances both in the first and in the third, and this past frame they capitalized. A bases loaded walk, a sac fly, and a double by Alberto Rios cuts the deficit, which at first looked insurmountable, down to 1. Park off of first, runs very well. Here's the pitch to Carter Graham, and he bounces this one foul from Matt Dallas. The right-hander out there for his second inning of work. Now action has started to brew in the Oregon bullpen. Now that I see an angle with the light, there is still mist coming down on the field. That said, it hardly looks to bother some fans, after all. At the same time, they might just be from Oregon, as Graham swings at a breaking ball and hits a high drive to deep left field. Back goes Smith, back near the wall, now angling in from the edge of the warning track. He makes the catch. And hustling back to first, Eddie Park. Graham just missed it. I think he thought he might have got it. And Tanner Smith, before he started to circle in, had his numbers up against the dark green of the outfield fence, so eventually Tanner Smith came circling back in, and with his momentum coming toward the infield, he made the catch. Now the first pitch of Tommy Troy with the runner going is taken for a ball. The throw to second is in time in any case, and Park overslid the bag regardless, so that is a caught stealing that erases the Cardinals' second hit. So now 2 men are out, and Tommy Troy is coming up with the bases empty. That's the third time that Eddie Park's been caught stealing this year, as Troy swings and grounds one to second. With a knee down, Grant fields and throws to first in time. And the fourth inning draws to conclusion in short order. On to the last of the fourth inning. 4-3 Stanford trail on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Last of the fourth inning in a 4-3 ball game. Stanford hung the most runs on the board than they have all series. They put up 3 in the third and have been kept quiet in the top half of the fourth inning. Jacob Walsh, a scary right-handed batter, takes the ball below, or scary left-handed batter, takes the ball below the knees. Walsh struck out his first time up, but he's hit 3 home runs this series, including 2 yesterday. That bat is so potent as he swings and misses. He tried to hit that ball to Sun River, but alas, Dixon threw him the changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from Dixon, and Walsh swings and misses again, this time at a curveball. So let's see if Dixon can retire him. Walsh starting things off for the Oregon Ducks here in the fourth inning. And Fields playing him to pull. The pitch on the way, and he rips this one on the ground to first. Graham knocks it down on one knee and runs it to the bag himself in time. So Jacob Walsh retired consecutively for what feels like the first time this series. And that'll bring up Josiah Cromwick. Cromwick, right-handed batter, starting in for his second time after striking out. And he swings and misses at a breaking ball. No balls, 1 strike. Now Dixon winds and throws, and a breaking ball misses away. Some action has already started in the Pac-12. Cal and Utah are in the last of the second. 3-2 the Golden Bears ahead, as Dixon kicks and deals and misses away with the fastball at 91 miles an hour. The Bears and the Utes are not really having fun seasons, either of them. They're currently both sitting near the bottom of the Pac-12 as the ball to Cromwick is hit off the hands and out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here is Dixon waiting. Now the 2-2 pitch. Curveball called, strike 3. Right at the knees, 4th strikeout for Dixon, and that's the second time that Cromwick has been set down by way of the punch-out. So now Bryce Betcher. I stand corrected. That game that was initially, that I said was in the second inning, Cal versus Utah, that game has progressed quite substantially. I didn't refresh my web browser as the pitch to Betcher brushes him back, almost catches him in the shirt. That one at 94 miles an hour. A little bit more zip behind that fastball. That's the hardest pitch that Dixon has thrown today. Unsurprising considering Betcher took him yardage last time as a breaking ball misses low. 9-6, the Golden Bears are still out in front of the Utah Utes in Salt Lake City. Multiple other games have started up as well. 3-0, Washington State leads Arizona. As the ball is taken at the knees, 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Base is empty. 2 men out here in the last of the 4th inning. Oregon 4, Stanford 3. The 2-1 coming, and that one's ripped back up the middle, but a diving stop by Bowser from his knees. He throws to first in time to get him. A scintillating display of defense by Drew Bowser, and a nice stretch at first by Carter Graham ends the inning. Wow, that might have been the play of the series. Drew Bowser with the Superman dive speared that one on a bounce. And then from his behind, he threw to first, and that time, he got him. Betcher, who runs very well, is sent packing. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. The first clean inning for Joey Dixon with the help of some outstanding defense. On to the 5th inning we go. The score is 4-3, the Cardinal trail on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. First pitch to Brady Montgomery, swung and belted high and deep out towards right center field. Way back there, still going. It is a home run! Brady Montgomery wastes no time, and this game is tied. Number 9 on the year for Montgomery. He walked twice, and now he hit a missile that just carried out over the right center field's wall. That really signals that the Cardinals are beginning to turn things around. An outstanding defensive play to end things back in the 4th inning. And now a home run in the 5th. 4-4 the score now as Malcolm Moore swings and chops one toward second. In to field it, Gavin Grant, and he throws to first in time. I can see why Moore would be amped up to swing as the homer from Braden Montgomery came on the first pitch. But Moore, much like many of his Cardinal teammates, have really needed the reminder at times to not do too much with too little pitches as Bowser swings and smokes one to second, and on a short hop it gets a piece of Gavin Grant. It hits him in the kneecap and squirts away into shallow right field. That one was hit right on the screws, and Gavin Grant just tried to wrestle it, but he couldn't corral it, and Bowser is aboard with what will certainly be ruled a single. That one was smoked. And again, Stanford is wasting no time. There have been times this series, frankly for most of this series, their aggressiveness has backfired. It's made for some very efficient outings from opposing starting pitchers, but now that they're starting to hit the ball hard, their approach is starting to look a little bit more validated. There's a swing and a foul back by Alberto Rios. 4-4 the score now here in the 5th inning. A run across after a Braden Montgomery solo shot, and Drew Bowser is at first after singling. Both line scores identical now, 4 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error apiece. Bowser, small lead relative to his 6'4" frame, away at first. Here's the pitch to Rios, and an 88-mile-an-hour fastball from Matt Dallas, missing high. Dallas is still out there. So far today, he has allowed 2 walks and a couple of hits, and just now the home run. The pitch coming to him, and it misses away. 2 balls, 1 strike. The infield is at double play depth. Alberto Rios does not run all that well, and Drew Bowser, despite taking long strides, is not all that fleet of foot either. Here's the pitch to Rios, and it misses inside. 3-1. This year, Drew Bowser has attempted only 1 steal. He has not been caught, but the only reason why he would attempt a steal is there's a pickoff and a throw to first. Bowser's in safely. The reason why he would attempt a steal under a circumstance is if he does that classic shuffle, shuffle, go off of first and gets a good jump with a big lead. Another step off and another throw over, this one with some conviction, but Bowser was barely away from first base, even with Walsh holding. Step off and a third throw over. This time Bowser has to dive back. It's very strange to see Matt Dallas make 3 consecutive pickoff moves, each one with more intent than the last. Bowser is not really someone I would consider a threat to run. I don't think anybody would really consider him a base stealer by trade, as the 3-1 is bounced foul, a sinker at 87 miles an hour. Alberto Rios, after doubling home run his previous at-bat, strides in on a 1-for-2 day so far. Here's the set from Dallas. Now the pitch, and he rips this one on the ground to third. Ceballos has it. He throws to second for 1, the turn to first, double play. So the inning is over, but not before the Cardinal tied the game on the solo home run. Braden Montgomery shoots one out over center field as we go to the last of the 5th, halfway done here at PK Park. The score is 4-4 on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Here's the first pitch to the right-handed batting Gavin Grant, and it is taken at the knees for a strike. 4-4 the score here in the last of the fifth inning as Dixon winds and throws again, and that one's a called strike as well. Dixon's command looks much better. Unsurprisingly so, as the rain seems to have completely subsided. The sun is also starting to peek out and shadows are starting to form on the field. And that one is called strike 3 at the knees. Good morning, good afternoon, and see you later. Joey Dixon picks up another strikeout. That's his 5th. So it looks like he's a little bit amped up after the game has been tied for the first time this game. After the solo home run by Braden Montgomery, it's 4-4, and now Riku Nishida in for his 3rd try. Pitch on the way to him, and it is called a strike at the knees. Nishida, a deceptive amount of power despite wielding a wood bat and only sporting a 5'6", 150-pound frame as he squares to bunt, offers at it and misses. 0-2. The outfield is playing him to go the opposite field, and they're playing very shallow. And the infield is practically playing halfway. The pitch on the way is bounced on one big hop to Tommy Troy at 3rd. His throw across the diamond to 1st is a good one in time for out number 2. So Nishida today has been kept quiet. The same can be said for this series, as that'll bring up Colby Shade. Shade today is 1 for 2 after reaching on an infield single and later scoring back in the 1st. Here's the pitch from Dixon, and the changeup misses high, ball 1. The past few frames have shown flashes for the Cardinal of acting like their former selves, or their typical selves is a better way of putting it, as there's a called strike at the knees. Before this game, they had only scored 1 run this series. They were shut out in game 1, and yesterday held to only 1 run, and there's a swing and a fly ball hit towards medium shallow right field, racing over Braden Montgomery. It is going to fall just foul. Michael Fichter emphatically waved that ball foul. It kicked up some turf only a few inches to the right of the right field's line. Fichter got a good long look at it, and what could have been a bloop double and perhaps more is instead a 1-2 count to Colby Shade. Bases empty, 2 men out. Dixon trying to come up with his 2nd shutdown inning. Infield playing the right-handed batting Shade to pull. Drew Bowser playing up the middle. Dixon winds and throws and bounces a curveball in the dirt. Up next for the Cardinal, Hinkleman, Cobb, and then the top of the lineup. Dixon waiting. Now the 2-2 pitch. And Shade swings and bounces this one softly to 3rd. Charged by Troy. He gloves it, throws across his body to 1st. In time. Nice play by Tommy Troy to retire the very speedy Colby Shade. 3 up, 3 get down, go the Ducks. After they struck first in the 1st and 2nd innings, this game has really taken a turn, favorably speaking, for the Cardinal. On to the 6th inning. 4-4 the score, still tied on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Cole Hinkleman takes a strike to open things here in the 6th inning. Matt Dallas is still out there as Hinkleman looking to improve his line as he looks at a ball just missing outside. 4-4, the game is tied. Oregon looks like they were about to take another commanding lead in this one after homering twice in the first 2 innings. As the pitch to Cole Hinkleman, a check swing, and the ball still hit fairly hard to first. Walsh bobbles, underhands to the pitcher, covering in time. Hinkleman really got the barrel to it. It's just a little bit unfortunate that he didn't follow all the way through. So Hinkleman continues to cool off. He's 0 for 3. Now it's Owen Cobb with Eddie Parks to follow. Cobb facing Matt Dallas for the 2nd time today. He flew out to center field. Colby Shade made a nice play back in the 3rd inning. Cobb looks at ball 1, a fastball at 87 miles an hour. A lot of important series in college baseball happening this weekend as Cobb looks at a pitch outside. We'll run you down the results from yesterday, and then we'll take a look at what's been going on today. The pitch to Cobb is a called strike at the knees, 2-1. 9-8, the North Carolina Tar Heels walked off the Miami Hurricanes. That game was being played in Chapel Hill. That was a very close game, and second, very tricky. There's a check swing and a miss. Yet again from Owen Cobb, 2 balls, 2 strikes. That was the one that was suspended initially and resumed during that Saturday. I believe they would play later that day as well, as we'll have the update for you on that in just a moment. Yes, 4-3 Miami took game 2, so the rubber match is being played today as Cobb swings and chops one to third. Charging in Ceballos, short hop, throws to first on one hop, picked out of the dirt by a Walsh in time. Nice play by Sabine Ceballos. That one was one of the ones that, despite it being widely considered a routine play, is certainly not easy, as now all 4 umpires will convene. Dave Esker out from the dugout, possibly asking for a review. If the call stands, there would be 2 outs and nobody on for the top of the lineup. There will be a review. That buys us some time to talk about college baseball just a little bit more. Vanderbilt beat South Carolina in Nashville yesterday. The Gamecocks made 4 errors, and Vanderbilt took readily advantage of it. 5 runs, 4 hits for South Carolina, 8 runs, 8 hits for the Commodores. LSU beat Kentucky to take the series in Baton Rouge. LSU still the unanimously ranked #1 team across college baseball. 6-3, the Arkansas Razorbacks beat the Tennessee Volunteers. They also have more runs than hits. 6 runs, 4 hits for them, as looks like, without taking a long look at it, that was Chase Burns' start, so hopefully he was managing to turn things around a little bit. Chase Burns or Chase Dollander, one of the two. Dollander did not go in game 1. So, Owen Cobb is still standing at first, despite the review still taking place. In other news, Wake Forest shut out number 10 Louisville. Wake Forest is ranked number 2 this year, and the call on the field stands. So, Owen Cobb retired on a nice defensive play by Sabine Ceballos. West Virginia beat Oklahoma State 9-5 in Stillwater. Florida beat Georgia 2-1. Florida's ranked number 3. That game was played in Gainesville. Trying to look around and bring you some meaningful results here. There was a lot of ranked competition happening this week. Here's the pitch from Dallas, and Eddie Park with 2 men out and nobody on swings and hits 1 foul. Stanford 4, Oregon 4 here in the 6th. Here this Sunday, as the pitch to Park is called a strike at the knees, 0-2. Arkansas out in front of Tennessee 6-2 in Fayetteville. Close game in Waco with Texas leading Baylor 7-5. Baylor also has 4 hits and 5 runs, and they've also made 3 errors. The pitch missing outside to Eddie Park. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Duke took the series from Boston College today as Park swings and reaches for one, flying one in the air to medium deep left field. Back a few steps, Tanner Smith, and he makes the catch to retire the side. Clean inning for Matt Dallas as we go to the last of the 6th inning. 4-4 the score here on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. More updates around college baseball when we come back. The first pitch to Drew Cowley opening things up in the last of the 6th inning is taken for a ball. The second pitch is a little bit outside. Joey Dixon is still out there, approaching 90 pitches. He's really turned his outing around after being clipped for 2 home runs in the first 3 innings, allowing 4 runs total. The game is tied as Dixon winds and throws, and that one swung on and popped high in the air. Owen Cobb, the shortstop, camps under it on the outfield grass, and he makes the routine play. 1 man out. So now Sabine Ceballos. Ceballos, lots of power from the right side. It's been on full display for the duration of this series. Ceballos has homered once already today, giving him 9 on the year. And that one was out by plenty over the left field wall. Here's the pitch to him, and a breaking ball misses in tight. 1 ball, no strikes. Ceballos also made a nice play on a short hop and an off-balance throw to retire Owen Cobb in the previous frame, and he smokes one foul after pulling it hard down the third baseline. 1-1. Ceballos waits for Dixon's offering. Now the pitch is swung on and missed. Wow. Really swinging for the fences, and yet Dixon managed to blow a 94-mile-an-hour fastball right by him. 1-2. I said I was going to bring you some college baseball updates, and I'd like to think that I'm true to my word there as the pitch comes to Ceballos and he fouls it off. The last one I got around to was Duke taking the series from Boston College. That one was 6-2 in Chestnut Hill. Boston College drops the series after entering this week ranked number 11. Here's the pitch on the way, and that one's ripped out toward deep center field. Back goes Park toward the warning track. He will not get there. He slides and takes a weird landing up against the wall. Over to get it, the left fielder Rios. Now Ceballos round second, is heading for third, and he's in there safely with the triple. I was distracted by Eddie Park because he made a slide for that one on the warning track and landed awkwardly up against the wall. He was a little bit slow to get up at first, but Now he seems to be shaking it off and walking back towards center field. In the meantime, that's a triple for Sabine Ceballos. And the go-ahead run is at third with only one man out. That was an excellent effort by Eddie Park, but he was shaded toward right center field a little bit, and those last few steps may have cost him as the ball was hooking away from him. And an excellent piece of contact again from Ceballos. And with that and the left-handed batting Tanner Smith coming up, we will likely see a pitching change. Drew Dowd has been warming up over in the left field bullpen, and now we might finally get to see him. In the meantime, an excellent outing of redemption for Joey Dixon, despite allowing the 4 runs. Eager's still out there. He's yet to make a motion. And we'll see if he finally makes a motion here. Right now he's just talking to Dixon, possibly buying him some time. As yes, it does look like Drew Dowd's ready to go, and Eager will finally motion for the left-hander. So that's it for Joey Dixon. He's responsible for the runner at third base, and he's allowed 4 runs. And we will recap you in just a moment on what Drew Dowd's season has been like once he begins his warm-up pitches. For now, let's finally finish these college baseball updates. Florida beats Georgia to take the series 11-6. That was in Gainesville again. Louisville beats Wake Forest to win the final game of the series 7-2. And South Carolina dropping the finale to Vanderbilt in Nashville by a score of 6-4. So Dixon walks off the mound, and I'm sure there are some things about his outing that he would improve, but looking at how this outing started, it's really excellent considering his finish. Runner at third, and 1 man out, and we'll pause for a break with Drew Dowd just beginning to get loose. The score is 4-4 on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network.
Doctors Without Borders delivers emergency aid to victims of armed conflict, epidemics, and natural and man-made disasters, and to others who lack health care due to social or geographical isolation. They provide primary health care, perform surgery, resupply hospitals and clinics, run nutrition and sanitation programs, train local medical personnel, and provide mental health care. If you'd like more information about how you can help support Doctors Without Borders, please visit www.doctorswithoutborders.org.
So, in relief of Joey Dixon, it'll be the junior right-hander Drew Dowd. Dowd this season has transitioned from the Saturday starter into a multi-inning relief pitcher. He is one of the front line arms these days for the Cardinal. He has a 6.75 ERA, and he's kind of been roughed up in his past 2 to 3 outings. 2 or 3 to 4 outings. Those really inflated his ERA, which at one point was at 3.72. The lefty features a fastball in the low to mid-90s that he'll reach back for during crunch time. And he's got a good curveball and a changeup. Command's really his deal, though he really has the stuff to be a power pitcher if that's how he chooses to operate. 33 strikeouts for him in 28 innings and 17 walks. So now Tanner Smith about to stride in. Left-hand batter. Infield is playing in with the runner Ceballos at third. Big moment here in this game. Tie ball game 4-4 here in the last of the 6th inning. Dowd's first pitch. Curveball, check swing, the appeal to third base. It is a ball. Malcolm Moore really tried to smother that one on the ball in the dirt. First pitch breaker from Drew Dowd to the very clutch-hitting Tanner Smith. Smith has really been that lightning rod for the Oregon Ducks this entire year, and here he has a spot to really raise the team morale after their bats have gone quiet for the past few frames. Another breaking ball, another ball in the dirt, smothered by Moore. 2-0. Oregon dominated the first 2 games of this series, and look to be dominating the first 2 innings as well. They've hit 8 home runs, 6 in 2 games, and 2 more here in Game 3. But the Cardinals this time have struck back as now Drew Dowd steps off and even fakes the throw to third. That was just to reset the pitch clock. 1 out, runner at third, infield in. Ceballos, with average speed, has already made 1 out at the plate this series. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses upstairs, 3-0. The question with Drew Dowd is just a matter of, was he in the bullpen for too long? Joey Dixon looked to have a short leash, but after 5 1/3 innings, he is finally removed from this game. Dowd sets. Now the pitch. And a fastball taken at the knees at 91 miles an hour. So Smith looked to be taking all the way. 3-1. Dowd sets at the letters. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing at a fly ball down the left field line. Foul. 3-2. Jacob Walsh is on deck. And despite the platoon advantage that the Cardinal will likely have, Walsh is still a guy that they will likely pitch around. Ceballos on third after the triple off of Dixon, which chased him from this game. Dowd's 3-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a softly hit ball to second. Charging is Bowser. Here's the throw home. The tag. He is out. They got him. Right away, Ceballos pops up from his head-first slide and motions toward the dugout. Ceballos thought he got his hand in, and I tell you what, that was a close play. In the meantime, down to first goes Smith. That was hit so softly. And Ceballos does not run all that well, so Drew Bowser made the smart play to come home. It was a perfect throw, and the tag was applied by Malcolm Moore. And Ceballos tried to swim his hand around the tag that time, and he thought he was successful. That said, the umpires will gather and will have to check. They have not, as of yet, initiated a review, and Mark Wazikowski is saying, hey, what the heck's taking so long? So now they will take a look in the replay booth. For now, let's pause for station identification. This is KZSU Stanford 90.1 FM, your non-commercial Cardinal sports leader, and your Stanford Student Radio Network. So the replay is still underway here after the fielder's choice. A ball was hit softly to second, and what few Oregon fans are in attendance today on a rainy day, they are expressing their strong opinion that, in fact, the runner was safe. Sabine Ceballos came home on the contact play after a ball was hit softly to second. Drew Bowser came up, charged, and made the throw, and it was a good one, and that's the only reason why Stanford have a chance at having this call stand. Still waiting now. Yep, both umpires still with their headsets on. Either way, Oregon will have Tanner Smith at first with X number of outs. Here's the review, and the call is... Still waiting. He is out. So an out at the plate keeps the game tied. Tanner Smith is at first, and an excellent play again by Drew Bowser. He has really been flashing the leather today. A smart play on that one, and he also made a diving stop. That was a few innings ago in the 4th. So now Jacob Walsh is aboard. Or rather, he is up at bat. Walsh is a guy who can make that point with the runner thrown out at the plate moot. He's got tons of power, and Dowd kicks and throws to first. Tanner Smith back standing. Smith runs very well. Lots of speed. Stolen 3 bases, and he's been thrown out once. Drew Bowser playing out in shallow right field, just beyond straightaway. Here's the pitch, and a check swing on a ball that the home plate umpire, who is Scott Latendra, rung him up anyway. 0-1, 2 men out, a man at first. 4-4 the score here in the last of the 6th. Walsh waiting. Here's the pitch, and a ball taken below the knees, a fastball at 90 miles an hour. A good miss for Drew Dowd. If you want to misplace a fastball, it better be out of the strike zone. The powerful left-handed hitting Walsh waiting. Dowd kicks and throws to first again, and back standing again is Tanner Smith. Drew Bowser went from playing out in shallow right. Now he's taking a couple steps further back, trying to position himself to optimally field what might be a hard hit ground ball, a step off, or rather a kick and another throw to first, and in safely and standing is Smith. Dowd induced weak contact in his last platoon matchup, and now trying to do so again here with Jacob Walsh up. Walsh, the home run hitter, swings and drives this one deep down the left field line. Way back there, it is slicing, and it is well foul, although it did have home run distance. Walsh today is 0 for 2, but he's hit 3 home runs this series. And that one, although he was late on it, was a reminder at just how much power he has. Dowd sets after getting a sign for more. Now the pitch, and he strikes out swinging. 94 miles an hour from Drew Dowd, and Jacob Walsh is retired on the strikeout. An out at the plate and a strikeout with the tying run on first ends things in the 6th. On to the 7th we go. The score is 4-4 on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. So Matt Dallas is still out there. A little bit surprising to see someone of his stature go this deep into a game, as the first pitch to Carter Graham is a big swing and the ball hit foul. Dallas will likely eclipse 60 pitches by the time this inning is over. Graham to lead things off, followed by Tommy Troy and Braden Montgomery. Graham, right-handed batter, infield's playing him to pull as per usual. Looks at a ball outside, 1-1. Today, Graham is 0 for 2, although he's reached on an error, scored, and walked. 2, 3, 4 hitters due up against Dallas. The pitch on the way, and it misses away. 2-1. Stanford 4, Oregon 4. After the Cardinal pick up a couple of huge outs, including an out at the plate in the previous frame. The pitch on the way is pulled hard toward the third base dugout, and it's in plenty of time. It's Dave Esker who goes out to retrieve that one. Graham's average is down to .267 with the 0 for 2 day for him. The pitch on the way, and Dallas misses away. Again with a fastball at 88 miles an hour. Dallas is in his 5th inning of work. That approaches, if not eclipses, a season high for him, and Graham takes inside, ball 4. Second time that Graham has reached on the base on balls. Action is brewing for the Oregon Ducks down the right field line, and we'll have to see how long the leash is in the tie ball game. Now it's Tommy Troy. Troy has walked twice and grounded out. He has scored 1 run, 1 of 3 in the 3rd inning. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for Stanford, 4 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the Oregon Ducks. The pitch coming to Troy is taken for a strike at the knees, a breaking ball at 79 miles an hour. Troy waits. Now the pitch is a sweeping slider missing away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Graham at first does not run well, with Jacob Walsh holding. Infield's double play depth. Step off throw to first, and Graham back standing. More updates around Major League Baseball will bring to you here. One of the more fun stories, one of the funnier stories that encapsulates baseball today is step off throw to first, Graham back safely. Cody Bellinger, the longtime Los Angeles Dodger, returned to Dodger Stadium. That was his first time at Chavez Ravine since signing with the Cubs this past offseason. Here's the pitch from Dallas, and it misses away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now, Bellinger, the longtime Dodger, received the typical standing ovation from the Dodger faithful. He, of course, was part of their 2020 World Series title and even won an MVP and a Rookie of the Year. Oh, look, there's a shot down the third baseline, and that scares some Cardinal players off the edge of the railing there. 2-2 to Troy. Runner at first, nobody out. So Bellinger returns to Dodger Stadium. He gets a standing ovation. And then before he could get in the box, he was signaled that he had a pitch clock violation against him. And there's a line drive into right field for Tommy Troy, a base hit. Nice to see him get off the schneid. Over to second and stopping there is Carter Graham. And the Cardinal are cooking here in the top of the 7th. 2 men on, nobody out for Braden Montgomery. So now Mark Wasikowski is going to come out from the dugout and likely signal a pitching change. Gives me a chance to continue with my story. So Bellinger goes up, and right after his standing ovation, he didn't get it in the batter's box soon enough because he was observing the warm welcome he received in Chavez Ravine. So he started the at-bat in an 0-1 count. These rules, of course, were implemented just this year. The batter must be in the box and attentive to the pitcher, I believe with 8 seconds remaining on the clock, and Cody Bellinger was not, so a very comic interlude during that first at-bat at Dodger Stadium, and something I call the Cody Bellinger standing ovation pitch clock violation abomination. So Matt Dallas, as expected, was lifted from this game, and a new right-hander in. We'll bring you more tidbits on him in just a moment. For now, the score is still tied at 4, but the Cardinal are threatening with 2 men on and nobody out here in the 7th on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network.
Since 1980, the Human Rights Campaign has worked for the day when gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender individuals are ensured of their basic equal rights and can be open, honest, and safe at home, at work, and in the community. If you would like to become involved in their fight for equal rights or would like to support the efforts of HRC, please visit their website at www.hrc.org. That's www.hrc.org.
There are more than 6,000 orphan diseases, affecting from a few hundred to around 200,000 Americans. The National Organization for Rare Disorders has one goal: to work toward the prevention, treatment, and cure of these rare orphan diseases. NORD serves as a clearinghouse for information and also provides referrals to specialists, support groups, and other sources of assistance. Contributions are always needed. For more information, visit www.rarediseases.org.
The majesty of Half Dome, the serenity of a stately redwood grove. These are among the spirit-renewing experiences we can all enjoy at our national parks right here in California. With budgets tight, national parks across the nation simply don't have the funds needed for visitor programs and long-term maintenance. You can help by making a tax-deductible donation to the National Park Foundation. For more information, visit www.nationalparks.org or call 202-238-4200.
Fair housing.
Austin Anderson is the right-hander on in relief of Matt Dallas, who threw, I believe, season-high 5 innings. He went 5+, in fact, and he's responsible for both of the 2 runners aboard. Austin Anderson, strong physical presence, 6'3", 220 pounds, out of Roseburg, Oregon, a community college transfer, and this year he has been fantastic. In 16 innings, he has a 0.56 ERA. Here's the pitch to Montgomery, and he takes a strike. If you've ever seen Chris Bassett pitch, Austin Anderson has a very similar arm slot. Very tricky high 3/4 release, and he just put in a slider for a strike, 0-1. The pitch to Montgomery, and he swings and misses. 83-mile-an-hour slider. Anderson makes for a very uncomfortable at bat. Perhaps more important than his 16 innings pitched, he has 22 strikeouts, 12 walks, and 0 home runs allowed. Montgomery has one of those today on his birthday, and now he waits for the 0-2 pitch and bounces one to short, and the shortstop, Cowley, slips and falls as the ball goes into center field. Rounding third is Graham. He's going to be headed home, and he slides in safely. That one was a ball that had so much English on it. Cowley broke up the middle to his left. The ball curved back toward his right, and with the wet ground, Cowley slipped and fell. A huge break for the Stanford Cardinal. Montgomery picks up his second run batted in, and they take the lead. It's 5-4. What a wild play that was. Stopping at second was Tommy Troy, but he is a crucial insurance run there with Malcolm Moore coming to the plate. A look at second and the pitch. Moore takes the ball outside. So rightfully so, they ruled that a base hit. Although Cowley, that was really a tough play. I thought for a moment that was going to be a double play ball. That one was not hit all that hard. But Montgomery sliced it as though he were wielding a tennis racket. Here's the pitch to Moore, and a fastball very high at 89 miles an hour. Moore does not throw, or rather, Anderson does not throw all that hard. He's got that slider at 83 and the fastball at 89. He's just so hard to pick up as the pitch comes in and the slider misses away. 3 balls, no strikes. Troy at second, Montgomery at first. Moore is being very patient here, but there's a chance that he'll get the green light. Pitch clock winding down. A look at second, now the pitch. And Moore takes low and inside, ball 4. So that loads the bases, still with nobody out. 5-4 Stanford lead, and Drew Bowser with a chance to put this game what could feel like out of reach. Stanford so desperately wants to salvage the third game in this series after only getting 1 run across the first 2 games. Oregon comes in angry that they did not get the series win last year as they took 2 out of 3 at the sunny confines. Now on their home field, they took a commanding 2-game lead as Bowser checks his swing on the appeal to first, and a very nonchalant and clear yes he went by Michael Fichter. Troy at third, Montgomery at second, and Moore at first. The pitch on the way. Bowser checks his swing, looks like successfully, and yes, that call confirmed by Fichter again. The Fichter scale has been used heavily this game, and this is the biggest spot that it's been utilized today. 1-1. Bases loaded, nobody out. Infield double play depth, corners in, middle pinched, and a breaking ball misses away. This must be a very, very tough at bat for Drew Bowser. Not only with that breaking ball from Anderson, but also with the angle out of his hand. Looks like he's throwing from shortstop. Here's the pitch, and it is in the dirt, knocked down by Cromwick, and kept close. 3 balls, 1 strike. Five to 4, Stanford has just gone ahead after a single with 2 runners on. Now the base is loaded for Bowser. Anderson delivers, and that one is called a strike. Right on the outside. A good job by Bowser to lay off that one. That was not in a spot that he could drive. Sometimes you have to tip your cap, and that was certainly a pitcher's pitch. Here's the payoff, and Bowser swings and barely gets a piece of one, reaches for it, and dribbles it foul. Some applause from the Cardinal dugout. They realize how tough of an assignment Austin Anderson is, and a good job of staying alive. Right-hander getting loose in the Stanford bullpen. Here's the pitch on the way, and Bowser swings and misses, strike 3. Bowser strikes out for the second time today with the bases loaded. That's a crucial out number 1, and now Alberto Rios a chance to pick his teammate up. It does not take a hit for the Cardinal to score a run. And it did not take a hit for them to score their first 2 in this ball game. 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and now 1 so far in the 7th. 5 to 4 they lead, and a huge run 90 feet away at third. Anderson's first pitch is a breaking ball high, 1-0. Bases loaded with speed at third. A ball hit to the outfield will likely score Tommy Troy. The left fielder, Tanner Smith, is also playing very deep. Here's the pitch coming to Rios, and it is in the dirt. Rios barely offers it that one, and his check swing is held up successfully. The Cardinal are starting to look like themselves again. These at-bats in high-pressure situations with the bases loaded they look much more accustomed to them as the pitch comes to Rios. He checks his swing on the ball in the dirt, and this time he very clearly went around. 2 balls, 1 strike. Infield at double play depth with the first baseman, Jacob Walsh, playing in on what would be the grass. The rain has started to come down very lightly again here at PK Park. We had a sunny couple of innings, but since then the weather has soured once more as the pitch to Rios, a breaking ball outside. 3 balls, 1 strike. A walk here would force home a run. On deck is Cole Hinkleman. Rios, who's been so good with runners on base, strides in again. Powerful right-handed hitter. The 3-1 on the way, and it is low, ball 4. That will force home a run. Rios gets credited with the run batted in, and it's now 6-4. The Cardinal are ahead. That was a huge at-bat from Rios against a tough right-hander. And now it'll be Cole Hinkleman Before that happens, though, we might even get another pitching change. Mark Wyzikowski motions for the left-hander with Hinkleman coming up. We'll see what Dave Esker decides to do to counter. And we'll be back in just a moment. 6-4, the Cardinal lead, and they still have them loaded here on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network.
Founded in 1974, Children of the Americas strives to help children throughout Latin America and the United States get the food, medical care, and education they need to take their place in the world. The organization depends almost entirely on public donations and maintains a low percentage of administrative and fundraising expenses, just over 3% in the most recent year, so more money can go to those in need. To help, visit www.americaschildren.org.
Hi, I'm Peter Gopin, sports announcer for KZSU. We're dedicated to covering as many Stanford sports as possible on the airwaves on 90.1 FM in the Bay Area, online at kzsu.stanford.edu. Sometimes we'll have a number of games that'll only be streamed on the internet. To find out more about our sports coverage, go to kzsu.stanford.edu and click Sports. To listen, you can use the audio player on the homepage or go to kzsu.stanford.edu/live for our dedicated streaming page. We have 3 streaming channels. KZSU 1 will be the game that's on the air, and KZSU 2 or KZSU 3 will be the internet-only game. Thank you for listening, and go Card!
Second change of the inning after the Ducks went 2 games using only their starting pitching. We'll get back to you on who that is in just a second. It looks like it's going to be Grayson Grinsell, the tough left-hander. He's kind of a really uncomfortable at bat, almost a mirror of Austin Anderson. Grinsell weighing in at 205 pounds, the freshman from Reno, Nevada, standing at 6'1". His numbers on the year are a little bit less savory than Anderson's are, or were to look at. In 18.1 innings, he has struck out 26, walked 8, allowed 6 extra base hits, including a home run, to the tune of a 4.42 earned run average. He's also assumed the role of a multi-inning guy at times, but he's never gone more than 3 frames. So he's brought in to face Cole Hinkleman, and Dave Esker will make the appropriate counter move and bring in Timo Becerra. I believe Becerra came up with a single yesterday as he pinch hit and came up with a hard hit ball through the left side. Right-handed batter, some power as he takes a strike on the outside, 0-1. Infield, double play depth, bases loaded with 2 across already to give the Cardinal their first lead of the series. 6-4 with Becerra up at bat. He calls time. 0-1. Becerra crowds the plate just a little bit with his back foot touching the chalk of the right-handed batter's box. The pitch on the way, and that one is taken for a strike as well at 89 miles an hour. So Grinsell ahead of Becerra in a big strikeout situation. Owen Cobb is on deck. He would be next. The pitch on the way. And Becerra takes a bit outside. Good take that time. One and 2. Here's the pitch. And Becerra swings and misses. Strike 3. A high fastball up and way out of the strike zone. And that's another big strikeout with the bases loaded for the Cardinal. So, Grinsell makes relatively short work of Becerra. And that'll bring up Owen Cobb. Bases still loaded. A lot of important runs still out there on the bases as Cobb takes down and away. Cobb is hoping to be a little bit more patient than his predecessor. There's nowhere to put him As here's the pitch on the way. It is outside. 2-0. That said, Cobb is almost certain to see a strike. They can't pitch around him with the bases loaded, and even with a left-handed bat on deck, it's still Eddie Park, who's one of the toughest outs on this entire team. Grinsell steps off now. Reassesses things with Josiah Crumwick. Now he steps off again, just really taking his sweet time there. Montgomery at third, Moore at second, and Rios at first. Grinsell kicks and deals, and Cobb swings and flies one out of play. Looks like he sold out for the fastball there and just could not quite put that in play. 2 men out, bases loaded, not a sac fly situation. Cobb looks like he sold out for that. The right fielder, Betcher, is playing shallow. Here's the pitch on the way, and Cobb checks his swing and barely fouls one off. That looks like a changeup at 79 miles an hour. Cobb has reached base once today in the second inning by way of the walk. He is hitless this series, but one here could certainly redeem the entire weekend for him. 2-2 coming, on the way, and he swings and fights another one off. 91-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone. Cobb this year has been a 2-strike terror. I can name quite a few clutch hits he's come up with in 2-strike counts after fouling 2 or 3 or 4 pitches off. He'll have to do so again if he really wants to make an impact on this game. The pitch on the way. Swing and a pop-up out into shallow right field. In comes Betcher, calling off the second baseman Grant. He is there, and he makes the catch. But the Cardinals strike for 2, as we will now have the 7th inning stretch here at PK Park. 6-4 the score on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network.
Fans, you know what time it is. Stand up on your feet. It's the 7th inning, and it's time to stretch so you can get back in the game. Help us sing along to this baseball classic. Taking out to the ball game presented by Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists.
Right after the 7th inning stretch in a 6-4 ball game, Drew Dowd returns to the mound. Let's take a quick check around MLB, though. The most important game happening right now is between the Mariners and Rockies. The Mariners are being shut out. They have gotten 3 hits through the first 5 innings. Whereas the Rockies, against Luis Castillo, have gone 18 up and 18 down. So might want to check on that game if you have the chance. Drew Dowd up against the right-handed batting. Josiah Crumwick, the catcher, takes inside ball 1. Dowd winds and throws, and the pitch is fouled away. In other news, the Milwaukee Brewers have a 1-0 lead over the Padres. That game being played in Petco Park. And many of the other games have been finalized. The Nationals victorious over the Cleveland Guardians, 7-6. That game finalized from the nation's capital. The 1-1 pitch on the way is swung on and popped high in the air in foul grounds. Moore giving chase, but he's going to watch that land in the stands with a splash and a thump off the concrete. A ball, 2 strikes. 6-4 Stanford lead here in the home 7th. The Yankees shut out the Minnesota Twins 2-0. I already mentioned that game, but what I did not mention is that Garrett Cole threw a complete game shutout. His ERA is now a sparkling 0.95, and there's a swinging strike 3 from Josiah Cromwick. So Cromwick wears the hat trick, and that is the second punch out for Drew Dowd. 1 gone now for Bryce Betcher. Betcher today is 1 for 2 with the solo home run. Tommy Troy playing in shallow at third. Right-handed batter, lots of speed as he takes a strike on the inside. That one was at 93 miles an hour. So Dowd, with the lead now in his hand, is looking very spry. Gavin Grant is waiting on deck. 1 out, nobody on, Betcher waiting. Now the pitch is swung on and popped high in the air on the right side. Graham crossing into foul ground, right on the line now, reaches up, and in foul ground makes the catch. So 2 men retired. Dowd hopefully trying to shut this Oregon lineup down. Here now is Gavin Grant. Base is empty for Grant, right-handed batter. Choked up slightly in the batter's box. Tommy Troy playing him shallow at third, although there's the first pitch that's grounded to short. Cobb, with plenty of time, makes the play and throws him out at first. So Dowd makes very quick work of the bottom of the lineup as we are through 7. 6-4 the score as we head to the final 2 innings in this one at PK Park. Stanford leading by 2 here on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. First pitch of the 8th inning is a called ball. 74-mile-an-hour slider to Eddie Park. Grayson Grinsell, after recording 2 huge outs in the previous half inning, is now facing the top of the lineup, which is a much taller order, as the 1-0 misses away. 2-0. Park, Graham, and Troy due up for the Cardinal. As Park takes a strike on a ball that popped out of the glove of Josiah Cromwick. It's kind of unusual that you see a catcher be granted a borderline pitch, but that time clearly in the strike zone, according to Scott Latendra. The pitch to Park is slashed down the left field line, slicing toward the line, and in comes Tanner Smith to make a thigh-high catch. So Park, with a nice piece of hitting, unfortunately has nothing to show for it. And that'll bring up Carter Graham. 6-4, Stanford leading here in the 8th. They put up 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th and 2 in the 7th, and Oregon has not answered. Stanford is hoping to escape this ball game with a win. Graham up with the infield, playing him to pull, swings and misses. A changeup at 79 miles an hour. Graham waiting. He's got so much power, and today he is 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. There's a swing and a foul away. Nothing in 2. One out, base is empty. Tommy Troy will go up next. Here's the pitch on the way, and it misses away with the fastball. One ball, 2 strikes. The pitch to Graham is the changeup missing high. It is a little bit unusual to see such a tough sidearm lefty have such a wicked changeup offering. Typically you see guys like that sport a slider. The 2-2 on the way, and that is in at the knees, strike 3 called. The ball pops out of the glove of Crumwick again, so he quickly tags out Graham. So Graham is retired, and that'll bring up Tommy Troy. Troy today is 1 for 2 with a couple of walks as he takes inside. He thought he might have worn that one on his shirt just a little bit, but that one misses. This is him and the strike zone 1-0. The pitch on the way, and he swings and misses at another changeup. Man, that offering is so tricky from Grayson Grinsell. Another windup, and the pitch is a bit low. Fastball only at 89 miles an hour. The Ducks will have the top of their lineup ready to go against Drew Dowd. As swing, and there's a topper hit towards short, charged by Drew Cowley. He cannot pick it up cleanly as the ball kicks to the third baseman, Ceballos. And as a result, Tommy Troy will reach. That's going to be an E6, it looks like, as even with Troy's speed, the official scorer deeming that Cowley should have made that play. So, Troy is aboard. That's the second error of the day for the Oregon Ducks, and now Braden Montgomery. Montgomery batting right-handed now, after homering once from the left side. And a kick and a throw to first, and back with the dive is Troy. This year, Troy has been a wild animal on the bases. He's 11 for 12 in steals, only getting thrown out for the first time last week. The pitch misses up to Braden Montgomery, a ball, no strikes. This is Montgomery's weaker side for sure. He's struggled a little bit as of late batting right-handed, so hopefully this can be an at-bat where he sets himself right. The pitch on the way, and that didn't happen, as there is a swing and a miss. Man, Montgomery did not look good on that offering. That was a classic check swing, sword swing, and a step-off throw to first, and diving back is Troy. So Montgomery will have to shake that one off. 2 outs, runner at first. Stanford 6, Oregon 4 here in the 8th. On deck is Malcolm Moore. So it's very likely that Grinsell will remain in this game, even with the right-hander getting loose. The pitch on the way, and a much better swing that time, but a late one on a fastball at 90 miles an hour. That one was hit foul, 1-2. There's some wandering around in the Stanford bullpen down the left field line. Some jackets being worn, and for a while, Brant Panther was getting stretched out. Kick and to throw to first again. This time, Troy is in safely. They're going to try to ride with Drew Dowd, as I also see Ryan Bruno wandering around. As another pickoff, another time that Troy is back in safely. I see Ryan Bruno. I saw Brant Panther. So those look like they're going to be the final guys that Dave Esker turns to in this game. At least he hopes so, and there's a pitch missing up and out of the zone, 89 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Moore waiting on deck. Montgomery waits. Now the pitch, and he swings and hits a line drive. Caught at third base by Ceballos. And that'll end the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and a man left. Montgomery hits the ball hard, but right at Ceballos, who was guarding the line. As we now head to the last of the 8th inning, the Cardinal clinging to a 2-run lead. The score is 6-4 on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Riku Nishida takes a strike at the knees from Drew Dowd. Fastball at 92 miles an hour. 8th inning here for Dowd with a 2-run lead. 6-4, the Stanford Cardinal have taken their first lead of this series. The top of the lineup is going to offer their resistance as Nishida takes the strike. He's quickly behind 0-2. Brant Panzer has resumed throwing from the mound out there down the left field line. Ryan Bruno is also beginning to get stretched out, using the weighted sand ball out there, bouncing it against the wall, trying to loosen his shoulder up. The pitch on the way from Dowd. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And that was an uncharacteristic swing from Riku Nishida. So he is set down. That is the first time today he has struck out, and that will set things up for Colby Shade. Third strikeout for Drew Dowd. Shade, right-handed batter. Strides in. Troy's shallow at third with Shade's great speed, and on the first pitch he skies one in the air to left center field. Park, raging over, calls off Rio, settles under it, and he makes the catch. That fastball was at 94 miles an hour, so Dowd's stuff is really playing up here in the late innings. 4 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors for the Ducks. Those 4 runs came in the first 2 frames, each of them by way of a home run. Ceballos hit a 3-run blast in the first, and it was Bryce Betcher, not Jacob Walsh. It's almost force of habit with his name. Bryce Betcher hit a solo shot in the second, and the Cardinal have scored 6 unanswered, although the Ducks certainly have helped him out. An RBI double by Rios scored a run. A single by Montgomery scored another. And Braden Montgomery a solo shot back in the 5th. 6-4, the Cardinal are leading. So now Drew Cowley up with the bases empty and 2 men out. Cowley against Dowd. Cowley today is 1 for 2. He's also drawn a walk and scored a run. Dowd working from the windup. Infield's playing him to pull. The shortstop Cobb playing up the middle as Dowd misses that time. 95-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside. Dowd. Here's the pitch, and a swing and a foul. Tried to run a fastball by him again. Looked like Cowley was all over that one. He fouled it back to the screen. So now let's see if Dowd decides to pull the string. Stanford 6, Oregon 4, last of the 8th inning. 2 outs, nobody on. On deck is Sabine Ceballos. If Cowley were to reach, Ceballos would be the tying run. Here's the pitch on the way. Curveball in at the knees for strike 2. That one drops in there quite neatly. 1-2. Dowd's got the stuff to pitch for a strikeout. Little get me over breaking ball, got him strike 2. Let's see what he goes to here. The pitch on the way, and a high fastball taken above the zone at 94 miles an hour. Stanford will have up Moore, Bowser, and Rios. They're 5, 6, 7 hitters in the top of the ninth. The pitch on the way from Dowd, and he struck him out swinging. The ball in the dirt, picked clean by Moore. He tags out Cowley before he even gets a couple of steps out of the box. That's the 4th strikeout for Drew Dowd, and another huge frame for him in relief. 1, 2, 3, go the Ducks. As we go to the 9th inning, 6-4, the Cardinal are leading here in Game 3 at PK Park on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Josh Malaris is the new arm. He will face Malcolm Moore, so Oregon just trying to throw their best guy out there regardless of the platoon matchup. Malaris, a transfer from the University of San Francisco as a graduate student. This year, he has not allowed an earned run, or frankly a run of any kind. He's thrown 17 scoreless innings, punching out 26, allowing no home runs, 1 extra base hit, and walking 7. First pitch to Malcolm Moore is a strike at 92 miles an hour with the fastball. Malaris hoping to be the stopper here. Moore, powerful left-handed batter, takes a strike on the inside, 92 miles an hour. 0-2. Moore, Bowser, and Rios due up. Malaris working from the stretch. Here's the pitch. And Moore reaches for one and spoils a slider. Foul. That one's a nasty pitch at 85 miles an hour. Ryan Bruno is jogging and getting loose with a little bit more intent there in the bullpen. Double-barreled action going for Dave Esker in case Drew Dowd cannot go the distance. Malcolm Moore back in the box trying to stay alive. Here's the pitch. Up and in, almost got a piece of him at 93 miles an hour. So Moore stays in the box and stays alive. 1-2, Malaris kicks and deals, and Moore slashes at this one and fouls it straight back. Malaris reached back and got 94. Panzer and Bruno now throwing. Those are the two best relievers still available for the Cardinal. One of the silver linings, if any, from their underwhelming offensive performances is that their pitching actually worked quite deep into games as Moore strikes out swinging. Reached badly for the slider. Malaris punches the first man out that he faces. Second time that Moore has been set down, and that'll bring up Drew Bowser. (6-4) Stanford here in the ninth. A man out, nobody on, and the pitch is a swing and a miss. On the slider, no less. 0-1. Quinn Matthews, despite allowing, just going back to the starting pitching performance from this week, he allowed 3 home runs, but he went 8 innings. And even though he got a no decision, that conserved the bullpen. The pitch misses low and away. 1-1 to Bowser. And then yesterday, the Cardinal only needed to use, I believe, Nick Dugan and Torrin O'Haron in relief as Bowser swings and misses again at a well-placed slider down and out of the strike zone. 1-2. Malaris sets. Now the pitch, and Bowser takes about a fastball high, 93 miles an hour. That one definitely is the one that sets up the slider down and away. Malaris kicks and deals, and Bowser strikes out swinging. So that's the third time that Bowser has struck out today. And they've all been on off-speed pitches down and out of the strike zone. So Bowser's going to wear the hat, and now some words exchanged between Dave Esker, Andrea Mercurio, and Alberto Rios, along with Steve Rodriguez, the third base coach in attendance. While we're here, let's pause for station identification. This is KZSU, Stanford 90.1 FM, your non-commercial Cardinal sports leader and your Stanford student radio network.
You know. You all know exactly who I am. Say my name.
You what? I don't have a damn clue who the hell you are.
Yeah, you do.
That's right.
Now, say my name.
KZSU Stanford.
So, with the meeting now adjourned and the Jeopardy theme song cheekily playing in the background here at PK Park, we'll pause and deliver you our scheduling update. We have a game being broadcasted on KZSU 1 this Tuesday between Sacramento State and Stanford baseball, and there's a pitch missing low. 1 ball, no strikes to Alberto Rios. I'll be on the call with Pablo Noyola for the first time this year. Great to call games with Pablo like before. 1-0 to Rios, base is empty, and he takes the ball high. That one at 95 miles an hour. So Malaris a bit riled up after the meeting with Rios. Then, the following weekend, the Cardinal will play host to the Washington Huskies. I will be on all 3 calls with Connor Garcia-Whitehill and Jacob Neidig for Game 2. As Rios takes a strike, it's 2-1. So, a game against Sacramento State. First pitch at 6 p.m. on Tuesday night, and then a Friday, Saturday, Sunday set as Rios swings and misses. Another slider. And Malaris has a chance to strike out the side. Malaris sets. Now the pitch on the way, and Rios rips this one into left field, a base hit. Smith over to get it. to his right, fields it cleanly, and fires into the cutoff man. So Rios, in a 2-strike count, gets a single. That one was hit very hard, too. We got a slider up in the zone, and Rios has not missed those kinds of mistakes this year. So in now is Timo Becerra. Becerra came in to pinch hit for Cole Hinkleman and struck out against the tough lefty, Grayson Grinsell. The pitch on the way, and it misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes at 93 miles an hour. Jacob Walsh is holding Alberto Rios on at first. The next pitch, and it is a bit outside. Becerra, despite the strikeout, is hitting .400 this year, although most of his at-bats have come off the bench. Rios, a modest lead over there at first. Here's the pitch, and Becerra pulls off of one and swings and misses. .6-4 Stanford here in the 9th. Here's the pitch, and Becerra swings and fouls a high fastball back at 94 miles an hour. Josh Milleris really has that action on this fastball where he'll blow your doors off, and he's been doing that with relative ease over the course of the entire year. He's been Oregon's closer, but right now he's functioning as the stopper. His stuff is top of the line in the Pac-12 as Becerra lays off a slider up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So now, Rios, despite not running well, will get a head start at first. The right fielder and center fielder, Betcher and Shade, are playing relatively shallow for Becerra. Here's the pitch. There goes Rios, and that one's lined toward right field. But Betcher, playing in a little bit shallower than usual, shuffles to his right, and he makes the catch to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left as we head to the last of the 9th. The Cardinal will try to leave PK Park with 1 win out of 3 games. On the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network, the score is 6-4, with the Cardinal out in front as Drew Dowd goes back to the mound. So Drew Dowd will try to get the final 3 outs in what is looking like, well, not a safe situation because the Cardinal went ahead in the 7th. Dowd is really on a heater. He struck out 4 and retired 8 in a row since coming into this game. He will face Sabine Ceballos, Tanner Smith, and Jacob Walsh. Lots of power in this part of the order. It's naturally the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, as it should be. Ceballos, right-handed batter, facing the lefty Dowd. Ceballos has 1 long ball today already as he takes a strike at the knees at 92 miles an hour. Dowd's lease will likely be very short as 2 relievers are ready and waiting out there in the Cardinal bullpen. Dowd's pitch, and it misses up and away at 93 miles an hour. 1-1 to Ceballos. Ceballos has been smooth with the glove, been powerful with the bat, but this series it's been his base running that has been his only conceivable flaw. The 1-1 is a changeup away. 2-1. Over the course of this 3-game series, Ceballos has made 2 outs at the plate. The most recent one was he was cut down as the potential go-ahead run back in the 7th inning. The pitch on the way is swung on and popped up on the right side of the infield. Carter Graham in fair territory near the line. Shuffles over to his right now, makes the catch. And a big first out for Drew Dowd. So Ceballos gets under one, and he is a crucial first out, and now it'll be Tanner Smith. Stanford 6, Oregon 4 here in the last of the ninth. Trevor Haskins has come in as a defensive replacement out at second base as the pitch comes to Smith, and he takes a strike. Cocks his head in dissent, perhaps, as he does not exchange any words with the home plate umpire. That fastball was at 94 miles an hour. Smith, the left-handed batter, swings and slashes this one foul toward the Cardinal dugout. It's a little bit strange to see Haskins out there at second base. Bowser already made a scintillating defensive play once this game. But perhaps, hopefully Bowser's feeling all right. It's perhaps Dave Esker just trying to get Bowser off his feet. The pitch on the way, and that one misses low. Bowser's battled some injuries throughout the course of this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is a proactive measure taken there by the coaching staff. 1-2 to Tanner Smith. Dowd shakes his head. Now working from the windup. He sets. Now he deals. Swing, and there's a drive down the left field line. Slicing. Giving chase. That time is Rios, but it falls foul. Still 1-2. On deck is Jacob Walsh. No one has been a bigger threat for the Cardinal pitching staff this series than Walsh. Walsh is not taking great at-bats today, but he's still an ever-looming power threat. 6-4, a two-run lead with the bases empty as Smith reaches for one again and taps it foul toward the first base dugout. Trevor Haskins, the new second baseman, playing him into pull. Tanner Smith readies himself. Here's the windup, and the 1-2 on the way is Swan, and he missed it. The ball was in the dirt. It kicks to Malcolm Moore near home plate. He shuffles and fires to first in time. So strikeout number 5 for Drew Dowd is also registered as a 2-3 putout. And that'll bring up Jacob Walsh. This is the kind of at-bat where Walsh can take yet another 1 yard, but it wouldn't really make a difference in this ball game. It would make the game a run closer, but with the 2-run cushion for Drew Dowd, he can afford to be much more aggressive here. All who's left is Ryan Bruno in the bullpen as the first pitch comes in, and it misses low at 94 miles an hour. Boy, Dowd's stuff has looked fantastic today. His fastball zipping around, his curveball looks good. Haven't seen so much of his changeup as we would have expected as the pitch comes in, and Walsh takes a big swing and shoots it foul toward the parking lot down there. Takes a hop off of one of the cars parked down the left field line. It's always a marvel to me as to why anybody would consciously park down the right or left field lines near a baseball stadium. I just don't get it. Are you asking for your insurance premiums to go up? And there's a swing and a miss on a good curveball down in the dirt. 1-2. It's even crazier because at Stanford, those first 2 rows off the right field line are reserved, meaning you have to pay extra for them. The risk-reward just doesn't add up if you ask me. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it is called a ball on a breaking ball below the knees. Jacob Walsh, the last chance for the Oregon Ducks. 2-2. Dowd. Waiting. Now his windup. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing. He struck him out looking. And the ball game is over. Drew Dowd caps off an amazing outing by making the Ducks' most powerful hitter wear the hat. Jacob Walsh, who's been so potent this entire series, goes down on the backwards K. This one is over. The Cardinals salvage this series successfully, and they will return to the sunny confines on Tuesday with at least one win, and they snap their 3-game slide, hoping to take a little bit more momentum into the coming week. Let's take a look at the final line score for the victorious Stanford Cardinal. It is 6 runs on 7 hits, 1 error, and 11 stranded aboard. 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors, and 2 stranded for the Oregon Ducks. The winning pitcher in this one is going to be Drew Dowd, with the loser going to Matt Dallas. There is no save situation as Dowd came in with the Cardinal still knotted up in a 4-4 game, but he did an outstanding job. Look at that. 3 2/3 perfect innings. He struck out 6 batters and walked none. Like, that is how it's done in relief. And of course, with that, we will give Drew Dowd a very deserving player of the game, as he is a large part of the Cardinal bullpen, and that is a very reassuring sign after he looked very shaky over the course of the past week. Let's wrap things up quickly here, as today is getaway day on our way home from Eugene, Oregon. A round of thank yous for in just a moment. We'll have Tyler Gavette, our sports information director, who is not present with us because, as a matter of fact, he just watched men's gymnastics bring home a national title. So congratulations to Tyler. And to men's gymnastics, thank you very much to Todd Miles, the sports information director of University of Oregon, and our official score for this weekend. To Mark Lawrence and Jack Wong, our chief and assistant chief engineers at the studio, and of course to all our donors. Thank you very much for listening and for donating at the donate link at kzsu.stanford.edu. Should you choose to tune in again, and we hope you do, you can find us at 90.1 FM when you're in the Bay Area, and at kzsu.stanford.edu when you are away. Once again, my name is Carson Trail. 6-4, the Stanford Cardinal are victorious from PK Park. So long, everyone, and I wish you a very pleasant afternoon wherever you may be.
This is Ducks Baseball on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Time for the Oregon Baseball postgame show. Stats, analysis, and the full game recap are all ahead. Now, back to the ballpark.
Stanford 6, Oregon 4, as the Ducks drop to 24-10 and 9-6 in Pac-12 play. Stanford now 23-10 and 11-4 in conference action. The win will go to Drew Dowd. He's now 4-2, and Matt Dallas takes his first loss of the year. He falls to 4-1. Joey Dixon got the start for Stanford. 5 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Drew Dowd, 3 2/3. He was great. No hits, no runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. And the Ducks, after they used 2 pitchers all weekend to get to Sunday, Leo Ullman goes 2+ innings, no hits but 5 walks, led to 2 runs, 1 of those earned, and he struck out 4. Matt Dallas went 4 innings for the Ducks, gave up 5 hits and 4 runs, 3 walks and a strikeout. Then Austin Anderson came in for a third, gave up a hit, a couple of walks and a strikeout. Grayson Grinsell, 1 2/3 good innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. And Josh Malaris was Josh Malaris. 1 inning with 2 strikeouts, no runs allowed by Malaris, even though he gave up that hit with 2 strikes. He was outstanding. But the Ducks, I think, got the offense going early, and then they couldn't maintain the offense. And that was a little bit of the formula for success yesterday. They kept the offense going, scoring in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th innings. Today, they got the big home run from Ceballos, the solo shot from Betcher, and then that was pretty much it. The rest of the way, Stanford chipped away. Stanford ended up coming away with the win, 6-4.
The key sequence came in the 6th inning for me. A 1-out triple for Sabine Ceballos. There was a play at the plate on an infield grounder by Smith, and Ceballos was thrown out at the plate. The Ducks didn't score then. That would have been a huge run, and Stanford used the momentum of that play to add on, ultimately, the winning runs in the 7th when they went up 5 and then 6-4 in this game.
Well, and I felt like, in that 7th inning, a walk, then you get the Tommy Troy base hit, and Braden Montgomery hits that ball that could have been a double play ball. Took a funky spin, or Callie misjudged it off the bat. And it ends up in center field instead of being a double play ball. That leads to 2 runs scoring, and that breaks the tie. I agree with you. I think that was a critical stretch of this game. We'll go through it in a little more detail as Stanford wins 6-4. Ducks can't get the sweep, but they still got the series win on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.